Hey everyone, and welcome to day 7. We are finally at the end of our 7 days of 7 ways to boost immunity. So today I'm going to talk all about supplementation or activation as opposed to our food, and this take on on if we need supplementation for immunity, on if we need activation for our immunity. And I've taken a lot of my resources and information and knowledge from the credible people that I follow a lot. And this is, as I've mentioned throughout the whole series, this is Dr. Axe, this is Cindy O'Meara and her changing habits. And there's a few others that I haven't mentioned yet, but I will put them down in the comments below. If it comes up, if I talk about any of their stuff as well. So, but mainly what I'm talking about here is through either Dr. Axe or Cindy O'Meara and my take or my version on what they say about these sorts of things. So supplementation is a big topic. It's something that is controversial and many people talk about, do we need it or don't we need it? And there is a lot of hype around certain supplements that we may not really need. Now, as we all know, food should be our first source of getting our nutrients and vitamins and minerals. And as we've spoken about, the organic foods or the most pure sources of foods from the ground and the earth and the trees and all of those sorts of things are what we should be picking and looking at first and foremost. But what if you're someone who doesn't have access to highly organic, very pure type food? Or what if you're someone who maybe isn't able to afford these foods every single week, but you do try and put many of these foods into your diet on a weekly basis, just not everything that you buy? Now, this is where supplementation or activation can come into play here, but we want to look at the right ways to supplement our bodies as opposed to just buying something off the chemist shelves or buying something that we don't know is credible, we don't know has enough information, backing, science-based information behind it. And is it something that isn't full of synthetics either? Now, back in the day, a fair few years ago, maybe even 10, 15 years ago, multivitamins were a big deal. But I personally don't believe that they are something we need. I know that there are certain things within them we need, but multivitamins was just a buzzword at the time, when really a lot of what's in a multivitamin we should be finding from our foods first and foremost, especially for our immunity. Because what can happen is if you're feeding yourself loads of supplementation and they're quite synthetic, you don't actually know where they've come from, you don't know their sources, you don't know how credible these products are or these supplements are, they can actually cause more damage than giving you benefit. And this can come down to things like, just for an example, let's look at a multivitamin. You may be taking one that has vitamin A, D, C, B, it's got all the different vitamins in it. It's got a lot of minerals in it that you may need. But how do you know your body's even deficient in those to start off with? So unless you've had a blood test or you've been to a naturopath or a health expert or some sort of holistic doctor, a credible GP or someone like that, and had some blood tests done and know that you're deficient in something, if you then go and take a supplement or some sort of multivitamin that's high in those types of vitamins and minerals and you're not deficient in those, you will actually cause yourself more harm. It puts more stress on all of our systems in our bodies, more stress on our organs, depletes our immunity, and it's doing the opposite to what we think it is doing. So this is why we have to be vigilant. We have to do our own due diligence on vitamins and supplements to make sure that they are either credible enough or they are something we actually need or don't need. And I recommend, if you are going to look at supplements, my personal approach would be things like magnesium, fish oil, probiotic, iron, zinc. It really does depend though on whether you're deficient in those, because we don't want to overload the body on something that it doesn't actually need more of. So this is why we have to go and get these tests done, or we just look at our food instead of supplementation. Look at what you can do with your food first, and then if you still think you're depleted, you get those tests done, you make sure it's something you need or don't need, and then you look at what ways you can do this. And I can obviously provide you with credible supplements that I use from external sources, but also obviously I'm someone who promotes certain supplements and activation products myself, and obviously, you know, I can recommend those as well, but not everything that I take is from what I promote. And so I have done my own due diligence. I've looked into the science of different credible products. I've asked certain specific naturopaths and holistic doctors and things that I trust to find out which ones are the best, which ones are the highest quality, which ones are the lowest or no synthetics, and which ones I would want to put into my body on a daily basis, depending on what my health issues may be, or, you know, the things that I'm looking at. But coming back to this for immunity, yes, we may need some supplements for our immune system if at this time, or if there's a time in your life that you are coming into feeling like you're getting a bit of a cold, or you're feeling a bit run down, you may need to supplement yourself in some way. And people can use vitamin C and those sorts of things for this as well. And I highly recommend vitamin C at specific times, as long as you know that you need it within the body. As I said, we do have things that are supplements and we have activation. Now, supplements are, you know, like I said, the multivitamins, or they're like magnesium or the vitamin C, or you see them mostly in chemists and department stores. You get more credible ones through people like nutritionists and naturopaths, and then you can get very science-based ones depending on where you go. But then obviously we can look at activation as well. And this is where you're actually activating specific pathways, biochemical pathways in your body, to get your body to make more of what it needs, rather than trying to supplement it externally. It's very powerful to activate the body to do that in that scientific biochemical phase that it can do in those processes, those cellular protein processes that it can do that. And that's what we call activation. And activation is something that's quite new to the market compared to supplementation. We know supplementation's been around for years and years and years, but as the studies get better, science gets better, and we're looking more into this stuff, we're realizing we can activate the body to upregulate all of its good genes, all of its good survival mechanisms that it needs, and downregulate bad ones in the body that the body may not need at certain times. And so it's very powerful to use activation versus supplementation, and something that I highly recommend. Going back to supplementation though, and our immunity, or activation and our immunity, like I said, we need to be due diligent on whether we need these or not. And I would love you to give your thoughts on this in the comments, or write down your favorite supplements and activators that you may use, and something that we can all here together give other people our advice, or what it is that we feel is working for us, because this can be something that people are missing in their day, or are missing in their normal weekly program for themselves, or routines and rituals, and they're feeling like crap, but they don't know why, or they're feeling like hell, but they can't really work out how to feel better. And so these can be powerful. Supplementation and activation can be powerful, and can, you know, strengthen that immunity when it needs to, strengthen the nervous system, give us a boost in many different ways, create more antioxidants in the body, which is what fights off a lot of the bad guys that we don't want. We've just got to be vigilant with it. So I do recommend, guys, that we do go and get blood tests done. I do recommend you speak to a naturopath or nutritionist or holistic doctor of some sort, someone in the alternative medicine side of things, as well as speaking to your GP. So the GP is the one that's going to give you blood tests to see if you are someone who may be lacking in certain vitamins and minerals, who may need some supplementation or activation in your body. But in saying that, just make sure that if you go to your GP, that you then, you know, don't just go to the chemist and go, okay, it says here that I'm low in iron and zinc, I'm going to go buy whatever's on the shelf. That's not what we want, because that's where we can actually cause a lot more damage and deplete the immunity because of that. So supplementation can be really good, or it can be really bad, and so can activation, like I said. So please let me know if you want me to recommend some things that I use, that I've done a lot of research around, or that I know has a lot of independent research, not done by the companies or funded by those companies in any way. And it's something that, you know, I highly recommend to anyone that I speak to. But I do ask, guys, that you look into this for yourself, and don't just go and buy what's on the shelf because of what the media says, or don't just go to the chemist or, you know, the big brand name stores and just pick something because it looks good, because marketing can trick us very easily And what you're taking might not actually be what it says on the bottle, or it could be very minimal amounts compared to the synthetics that are actually in there as well. All right, guys, that was day 7 of my 7 days of 7 ways to strengthen your immune system. If you're wanting to strengthen your immune system, giving it a little bit of boost with supplementation and activation, let me know. I can provide you with some extra information on that, or put something in the comments for us so we know what you're using and what's helping you, and that can help some other people as well. And guys, I do appreciate that you've been sharing this around. I appreciate that you've been tapping into this and learning this for yourself. And I do hope that this helps you along the way to learn how to be more proactive with your health, and to, you know, be more open-minded about what you should and shouldn't be doing to strengthen your immune system and to have that long-term benefits to your health and that quality of life. Thank you all, guys. I appreciate you all, and I will see you all in another series. Okay, bye.